Peace to the gods and goddesses. It's important that you know that Yakub's whole ideology and book of Tricknology was designed to hinder your ascension process. Now, for those that know the history of Yakub, know that he actually has two brains, all right? He's a genius with two brains. At the age of 6, he was playing with magnets, discovered the law of attraction, and actually realized that he wanted to create a new race. Yakub hated the ebony race and wanted to make sure that we faced destruction and cataclysm. Yakub worked in conjunction with malevolent extraterrestrials from the Alpha Draconian system as well as Orion, some malevolent Anunnaki. Now, the malevolent faction that came from Orion were descendants from Enlil, okay? This is where your hidden hand come from. This is your 1% shadow government that still actually puppet mastered this matrix till this day. When Yakub created the Eugenics program to design a race to combat the ebony people, he had 23 scientists that accompanied him. Beyond breeding a race that was designed to actually hate the ebony people, Yakub also created a book of Tricknology and deceptive machinations to hinder and disintegrate their god body. Anything in regards to fluoride, chemtrails, lead, cadmium, mercury, anything nefarious, nanotechnology was all maliciously put here. This is all attributed to Yakub's plan to eradicate the god body. Everything from the Margellans to the inoculations to the religion, to making us forget that we are actually God and making us look outside ourselves to actually find God is all part of the Tricknology. There's been millenniums worth of ancient history that's been hidden from us. We do have the ability of ascertaining these archives by accessing the Akashic records. One of the things that Yakub discovered when he was playing with magnets is polarity, all right? The positives and negatives of everything. And he realized that everything has an opposing side, and this is when he decided to create an opposing race for the ebony people. Just like the Anunnaki placed a worship gene called VMAC2 to induce worship, Yakub actually placed a hatred gene and a Caucasoid to actually induce hatred towards the Nubian. Just like the worship gene can be bypassed, the hatred gene with concentration can also be bypassed. The trick is, if they can get the Tricknology installed in your mindset while you're young, then you would grow up having the racism. And then you would actually instill that hatred inside the youth, and it would actually create that looping pattern, basically, that infinity cycle of hatred and racism. This is the program and mental framework that Yakub designed the Caucasoid with. This isn't hate speech. I actually love everyone. I actually had close friends that was white. I just have to be honest about the ancient science. Anyone that's 6 ether actually derived from someone that's 9 ether. The deletes that created the mental framework of hatred and racism in the mind of the 6 ether actually hates them as well, okay? They dislike the 6 ether just as much as they dislike the 9 ether. Their primary objective is to make the 6 ether and the 9 ether go to war. Once all hatred and worship genes have been deactivated, we have the ability of forming unity consciousness. Most aren't aware that Yakub's hatred wasn't just against the ebony people, but against the whole world. By making one race appear more superior than the other, you would assume that Yakub actually had a side, but truly his objective was confusion, mass confusion and Tricknology amongst the populace. This is the personification of Antichrist energy because it's opposed to the law of one. This is what beings like the Galactic Federation is actually promoting, the law of one, basically unity consciousness. This extraterrestrial faction was actually designed to combat the Orion star system, the malevolent ETs from the Orion star system, as well as some of the malevolent hidden hand that derived from Enlil's lineage. Ultimately, all beings have the chance of ascension if they shed off the Tricknology. You have to disconnect yourself from any malevolent teachings that your ancestors may have given you if they weren't righteous, okay? If they weren't righteous and upright and focused on positive energy and resonance with the heart chakra frequency, then you have to basically disregard those teachings. Age of Awakening is about coming into understanding of what's really right, what's really true and upright. Some of the individuals before us were indoctrinated and victims of Tricknology. Moving forward into this age of awakening, one of the things we're going to have to really do is our shadow work in order to shed off the old version of ourselves to welcome the 5th dimensional version of ourselves. We also must realize that we aren't the body. We're simply energy just having an experience. We actually all derive from Prime Source Creator, and at this point in time, we're just in this fixed position in this holographic light code spectrum having an experience. Once we remember these simple things, we could defeat the deceptive machinations of Tricknology.